All right, ETM Hotep. Welcome to Freestyle Fridays with the Seshew mdw-ntr. Want to say dua for those who are tuned in right away, and dua for those who will be watching this in the archives. And before we get started, we always like to start off our hangouts, our sessions, with the recitation of the offering formula. So I will pass the mic over to Sonnet Emiket.
Dua. So yes, I will go ahead and recite the offering formula. And but before I do that, I would just like to explain what it is that you're looking at your screen. And on the top section, all you're seeing is the offering formula written in Seshew, what is known as hieroglyphics or hieroglyphic. And then the middle part, that is the transliteration, and you see it in diacritic marks. And the bottom part, that is the translation, which is obviously in English. And what I'm going to be doing is read the transliteration that is here, and the pronunciation that you'll hear from me is what is known as classroom pronunciation or Egyptology speak, and it is not historically accurate, but we use it to discuss the language. And I'm going to be reading it, and the offering formula is written for the ancestors, which is the word aku that you see here, and down here. And you can always insert a different name or a name of anybody that you'd like to include in the offering formula. So I'll just go ahead and recite it, and feel free to recite it along with me. Hotep Denesu, Wasser Neb Jedu, Netra Neb Abju, DF Beret Cheru, T Henket, Ka Apet Ches Menchet, Chet Nebet Neferet Wabet Anchet Necheim, In Kani Imahu Aku Maakiru. And what he says is, an offering the king gives Osiris, Lord of Jedu, great God, Lord of Abydos, so that he may give verbal offerings in beer, bread, ox, fowl, alabaster, and linen, everything good and pure on which a god lives, for the car of the revered ones, the ancestors, justified. And with that, I'd like to pass the microphone back to Uja.
All right, dua and Iker. All right, so we always like to start off our sessions by setting the tone by reciting the offering formula. All right, and we do this for every hangout that we have. So, you can see the other archives. We did a hangout specifically for the offering formula where we kind of walk through the different components that comprise the offering formula. The offering formulas are different. The different variations. There's some that are longer than others, and some others short. But they basically have the same components. All right, and we did a show on that, and I encourage you to check out the archives for more information on that. All right, so tonight is our Freestyle Fridays, and again, I want to say ETM Hotep, welcome. And on our Freestyle Fridays, they're designed for us to have fun, for you to have fun, for us to get as much interaction as we can by way of the Google Hangout and limitations of YouTube. But we have a call-in number, and I'll be posting that in 1 second. And but Freestyle Fridays is where we dispense with all the books. So we go straight from the head, from our memory, and we walk through the different steps, the 4 steps of transliterating and translating. All right, but without the books. So in doing so, we pretty much combine step 3 and step 4. And those steps briefly are, one, we identify which direction the signs are to be read. The second step is to identify each individual sign. And the third step is to group the signs into words. And then for Freestyle Friday, we try to recall their meanings from memory. Otherwise, we would look at dictionaries. And step 4 is the full sensible translation. So this is why I say on Freestyle, we try to, we have to combine step 3 and step 4. All right. So before we move forward, I'll introduce myself. Reni Wujau Meneb Erimaat. And I guess everyone else can introduce themselves, and open mic and introduce yourself.
Hotep, It's your brother Satep around Mariaman. Hope y'all enjoy the show tonight. We'll pass it on over to the next brother.
Duau, Hekanu N Amun Ra, Kwai Sanu Sekum. On behalf of I am Rennie Kofi Paisai, and we would just all like to welcome you all to the show.
ETM Hotep, welcome in peace. Rennie June, my name is June. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the show and leave satisfied. Hotep.
Hotep, Ren E, Imiket, Aku, Kenshai, Akinyi, and welcome to our Freestyle Fridays.
All right. So, and we have other brothers that will be joining us shortly. So let's get started. First, let me take a peep at the chat just to make sure. Give shout out to Brother Khalik, Tony Rice, and Lisa. ETM Hotep, welcome. I appreciate you all checking us out, hanging out with us on Friday. So let's have some fun. So we have some pictures that was selected by Sunshine. I see he just came in to the panel. So Sean, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
ETM Hotel, this is Ren Sean. Thanks everybody for joining the show tonight. It's about to be a lot of fun.
All right, and another one of our brothers, Hashomao. Introduce yourself.
ETM Hotel, Brittany Antoine Jermaine Clark, aka Custom Mouth.
All right.
Looking forward to the show.
All right, good. All right, so I got a little side announcement to make. I'm gonna set up a GoFundMe for the brother Antoine to get a microphone. So
you want to know what? I try to come in through the link, and then I try to come in through Google. When I come in through Google, it works a lot better. So I'm gonna hang up and try to come back into Google. But then I end up calling people. I think I just called some people or something. So I'm gonna try it again.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Now we just having fun. So okay, while he's doing that, let's go ahead and jump in. I posted the call-in number, so feel free to call in. Sometimes it may not work out the way I want to, so I'll call in and I guess be the first guinea pig so I can make sure it's working right. But okay, so let's get started. I'm going to share my screen, and we have two pictures tonight because one is pretty short, and let's see, pull it up here. And I guess if you all can let me know when it shows up. Actually, let me lock it on myself.
Yeah, it's up.
All right. Okay. We'll wait for it to show up. Now there's a delay. It's kind of a bigger delay than normal between our live, us live and the YouTube. I notice there's a lag, and it's pretty big. Let me refresh just to make sure it's not my connection, but there is a lag, so we gotta account for that. All right, and again, feel free to call in. I posted the call-in number is 716-293-7396, and the PIN number is 35306. Okay. So this is our first picture. Now this picture is short, and I wanted some more of the participation from those who are in the chat, those who are watching. So I know the lag is there, but feel free to give your transliteration and translation of any part of this, and I'll keep my eye on it. So while you do that, I'm just going to explain real briefly again the 4 steps of the method that we call tip hesed. Step 1 is to identify the directions in which the signs are to be read. That's pretty straightforward. We do it all the time. Step 2, you were supposed to identify each and every glyph. Now, obviously, if you memorize more glyphs, the more glyphs you work with, the more practice you put in, then you'll have more in your memory rather than looking up on a sign list. Step 3 is to recognize groups of these glyphs as the words that they make up, and then to look up those words in dictionaries if you don't know the meaning already. And again, the more you put this into practice and the more words you come across, the more you'll remember. And then step 4 is to have a sensible translation. All right. And we explained this several times that a transliteration is scientific and precise. As long as 2 people are using the same transliteration system, their transliterations should be exactly alike, identical. All right. And in terms of translations, you have some slight variations because there's never a one-to-one translation from a source language into a target language, because we have so many synonyms of words, what we call synonyms. So one person may choose one word, another person may choose the synonym of that word, or just to express it slightly different. All right. So this is why you see some scholars may have just a slight difference in translations. And, as long as it's in the same semantic field and conveys the intended meanings, it's okay. So there's some play with that. All right. So I'm looking at the chat. I haven't seen anybody give it a shot yet. So, and matter of fact, let me repost the number just in case. All right, I reposted it, but we're just going to go ahead and get started with this. All right. So step 1, identifying the direction. So anybody on the panel, if you want to break that down, explain what direction are we dealing with?
Yeah, we're going vertical, right to left, and I think somebody in the chat broke it down.
Okay.
Let me switch my mics.
All right, Brother Aziz has, I'm assuming he has the column on the right. All right, so I'll read it. Because of the archives, it's going to seem a little funny. People watching archives, they're not going to be able to see the comment, so I'm gonna read it. So, Brother Aziz Fall, you have Jed Medu in Waret Hikau, and you have a question mark there, and then ready your neck. So, anybody on the panel, anybody want to address that, or give any comments on that?
Can you hear me?
To you.
All right. Yeah, he did a good job. I got Jed Medu and Warred Hekau, but I got for the formula at the bottom, I got the you see the arm with the conical lobe on the end, so we would say D, and E, and Ek. And it's not really in there like that, but when you deal with that formula so much and you see it, you already know what it is. So you did a good job on it. It's just remember that formula is basically saying I have given to you, and then the next column tells you what they're given.
All right, excellent. So hopefully, Brother Aziz, you got that. And all right, now, okay, again, if your screen is blurry a little bit, just check your settings. On the video, look down towards the bottom. and click on the cogwheel, and you can change your settings to 480 or 720. All right. Now, unless you're still using dial-up, we won't be able to help you out with that. All right. So the next column is very short. Because he stopped at the first column. But actually, let me type it in there so he'll know exactly what you or if you're watching that, if you could type it in the transliteration for him, what you said, so he'll have it.
Okay, yeah, and then one thing I do want to say is you don't always want to stop when the column's done. You know, you want to go to that next column as well, because as you can see in the picture, it's a deity seated in there. Once that column stops where her face is, that's when that whole sentence or phrase is done right there. So you want to definitely see what they're giving, and then I'll go type that in for them.
All right. Yeah, it's a good point. All right, so I'll just say what's in the next column so we can keep it moving. So we have Seneb and then Neb. So Seneb, Neb. And anybody on the panel, what does Seneb, Neb mean?
All hell.
To you, it sounded like you said all hail, all hail, all health, exactly. All right, so we have Jed Medu in Waret Hikau, DNE in Ek, Seneb Neb. So anybody on the panel want to give just some more fluid translation? Just translate that, what we did so far. What is it saying?
Words spoken, great, great who is Hekau, I give to you all health.
Hey, can you lock it on the screen, Saber? Every time somebody speak, it jumps off from the picture.
Oh, it is? It should be locked on my screen.
Yeah, you have to click on the screen with the with the inscriptions, coffee, just so you lock it on it. Click on the avatar below.
Yeah, when I lock it, it's for the YouTube viewers. But if you want to lock it in here, yeah, just click on my avatar.
The only part I was a little bit shaky on is we read as an adjective, which usually follows the noun, but in this case, it looks like it's in the predicate position. So I was a little shaky with that one.
Yeah, here too.
Okay. All right. So we have, yeah, that's good. Oops, I didn't mean to skip down. All right. So we have Jed Medu Waret Hikau, Diania Nek, Seneb Neb. So words spoken by. I'm not sure if you said by, but words spoken by. In is by. So words spoken by Waret Hikau is great of magic. And well, they translate Hikau as magic. Now it's okay for us to use the word magic as long as we know what magic is in the context of the Nile Valley Remich or African view of magic, what magic actually is. All right. And maybe we can have a conversation about that later. But great of magic, I have given to you all health. So that's good. All right. So now the column on the left-hand side. So hopefully by now someone in the chat has also done that one. Let me see. Has anybody given it a shot?
No, I don't think they got that one. I've been in the chat the whole time.
Okay, so I'm gonna wait a little second. I know it's Friday. Supposed to pump it out real fast. No, but and also, you can call in because there's a lag between us live speaking live and watching the chat. There's a slight delay.
Would say, by today's standards, these are really superb healing process in these individuals. You did a good job.
We're just kind of just waiting to see if anybody.
And it was in fact a cushy job.
All right, ETM Hotep, Monica.
An organized structure of professionals and skilled artisans working within an ordered workforce. They were supported.
All right, so I don't want to be, kind of silent for too long. So let's just keep it moving. All right. So remember, if you all are listening in and we're watching the chat, there's a slight delay, but give it your shot. Like if you see the picture, I'll let you know ahead of time. When I go to the next picture, if you want to participate, just type out what you come up with. All right, just immediately start to do that. All right, then we'll look on the chat because there's a slight delay, and I don't, we'll have long pauses of silence. And we want to avoid doing that. All right, so the next column, anybody on the panel can knock that one out.
Jed Medu N Wajet Nebet Pernu D-N-E Enek.
Okay, two. Iker, excellent. Exactly. So maybe someone else translate it. Let me call Sean. Let me pick on Sean a little bit. Son Sean, what do you have for a translation? All right, he may have stepped away a second.
I mean, I'll do it. I'm on the what's the name part. I don't know what that is. But words spoken by Wajet, mistress of something. I have given to you.
Yes.
I don't know I don't know exactly what Pernu means. I know it's a house or something.
Yeah. Okay. So you know it's a house of.
Yeah, I know it's a house of something. That's all. I don't know what the new would be. It would be the no. I'm not even going to guess on that.
All right. Okay.
But the house or something.
Right. All right. So words spoken by Wajet. Now sometimes she's referred to as Wajit or Wajet. Nebet Pernu D-N-E Neck. All right. So that's good.
And later on for edifications, I said words spoken by Wajet, mistress. Some people use mistress, some people use lady, but I know my Sin Antoine, he kind of have a problem with the word mistress, and some other people do. But later on, if for edification, maybe we could go into mistress, explain it. It's not the same as what we think mistress is today.
Yeah, it's all on the right. It's how we use these words today. They change, and we had a conversation similar to that. Actually, I had a conversation yesterday with a couple of people over a conference call about just that. We were talking about not this word mistress per se, but how certain words are used differently now than they were when they were originally coined, and how they changed, and some of them changed to a negative light, but really originally weren't. And we got into conversations about ebonics and things like that. Okay, so yeah, we could talk about that a little later as well. All right, so that's the first one. So now I'm gonna
quick question. How my mic still sound?
Oh no, that's perfect. It's much better.
All right. Yeah, my quick question is about as far as the terminology, I am kind of backing off of it based on the fact that you said as long as we understand the meaning, kind of like what you said with magic, and also like you said with queen the other night. As far as we know what the words mean, and making sure that we don't let that stop us from using certain words. But my question about the Wajet is dealing with the if I don't know if you had a chance to see Smash presentation where you had the determinative in the back, that coral snake.
Oh, I've seen it before, but it was a while ago. So
Okay. Yeah, basically talking about how about the coral snake and how it relates to the spine and that stuff. So that was my uh, question that's related to that with that. But we can kind of talk about that a little later
Okay.
after we get done with the translations.
All right. At this point, we can say that Wajet is a very popular, should be a very popular deity to everyone because she is the patroness or the deity governing Lower Kemet. And then you have the other one, Nekibet. And Wajet is represented by a cobra, as you see on this example, and Nekibet is represented by a vulture. So together they are called the two ladies or the two mistresses, and they refer to as Nebti, which is the word what you see here on the screen. Let me turn my cursor back on. What you see on the screen, Nebet, for a singular feminine. That's a feminine for lord or master or owner or one who possesses. So still means one who possesses, but it has a feminine marker on it. So instead of saying Lord, see, we don't say Lordess today. We'll say landlord. But even if your landlord is a woman, you don't say landlordess today. And even it changed even as of recent, like people don't say actress too much. They'll still say actor. They don't say waitress for women, waiters. They'll just say waiters now. So you can still see even currently there's a shift in the way that people use these gender specific kind of titles in what we say today. But Nebti would be the dual of this. All right, so the dualized Nebet would be Nebeti or Nebti. All right, so now let me ask you just real quick before we move to the next picture. We see we see the picture is cropped, and we could tell that there's another figure in front, and we can see the legs of the figure in back. But which one out of these two, which one is it that we can see? Which one of these figures is it? Is it Wajet or is it Woret Hekau?
Swajit.
Okay, so what makes you say that?
Without cheating. um, the glyphs, well, we're reading from right to left, and the other parts of the missing pieces all have the person's name in front of the person.
So you're saying that the figure we're looking at right here in the middle is Wajet?
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
You answered your own question.
Yeah, you you answered your question, but it doesn't. You explained the answer correctly, but your actual answer is incorrect.
Right.
So no, just explain it again.
Okay. We're reading from right to left.
Yep, right to left.
Okay. Now, if we had the full picture with the rest of the people on here, or the deities, or whoever could be right here in the scene, in each column where it says words spoken by,
Mm-hmm.
in this instance, it's saying words spoken by Wajet, which would be the seated deity right here in the middle.
Okay, now you know why Jet is over here on the left.
I mean, not Wajet. I'm sorry.
That's the hope.
Hecker. Yeah, Hecker. I'm sorry.
All right. Okay. Good. All right. So you picked up on it. All right. So
Yeah.
in your mind, you had it all correct. It's just that you were
Yeah.
saying Wajet, which is over here, and you talking about this one. What at Hikau?
Too.
Okay. All right. So just for people who are listening, the correct is what at Hikau. That's who we're looking at. Great of Magic. All right, which is the meaning of their title. So that's who we're looking at. All right. Okay. So I just want to make sure that's clear.
Yeah. Speaking of the name, we're at Hekau. I think June was asking about you know, the name and why he was stumbling upon it a little bit, and I had the same question about, you know, because usually we'd expect to see the adjective right after the noun,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I was wondering, does that have to do with anything to do with the attributive or predicative or anything like that? Because we'd expect to see the name word right after the noun usually.
Right. What this is literally saying for grammar purposes, it's saying Waret means the great one. So it's a noun in and of itself, the great one. And then you have Hikau, magic. And magic is being pluralized here. So you have Waret
Okay.
Hikau, the great one. And then she of magic or of magic. So it's in a genitive construction, but this word here is Waret, the great one, in and of itself.
Okay, got it.
All right.
Dua.
All right, so now we're going to move to the next picture. And let me see if I can make it bigger. This one's a little harder to see. Now I'll magnify. I want everyone to be able to see the whole picture first, and then I'll magnify the top part, so we can go through it. But I'll leave this up on the screen for a little bit. This is it looks like a tombstone. Well, not too many tombstones today are shaped like this predominantly, but I know you know, in military cemeteries and things, you'll see a lot of tombstones that are shaped like this. But it looks like a tombstone, but it's a stela, and it's a stela of a particular deceased person, and we'll should find out who that is by going through this. All right, so I'm going to zoom in on the top, but before I do that, as far as step one is concerned, the direction to read it. Does anybody want to break this down?
Yeah, because I'm looking at that third line, and it's a little break off where the brother on the left got his part, and then the brother on the right got his part. That's what I'm getting from that third line.
I'm hearing a lot of background, some stuff in the background going on. I can't hear you as well.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was basically saying the third line, it's a separation right there where you have some going left and then you have some going right.
Okay.
Yeah, like right there, it's a split.
Mm-hmm.
So for the readers reading, or for the people on the chat, when we get to this part right here, we're gonna have to start right there in the beginning, or where the split begins.
All right.
And then other than that, we're going right to left from the top, from the first two lines.
So what I have highlighted are the only ones that are going in the different direction.
Yeah, from what I can see so far. Just, I mean, in one line, I haven't seen that before. So if I was to do this, I would do the highlighted part and then the other part, or whichever one. Well, I would probably do the one on the left first and then the one on the right, since most of the glyphs are facing to the right.
All right. Okay, so all right, good. So this is a good exercise for multiple directions in one particular artifact. All right, which is not um far-fetched. I mean, we see this a lot. All right, especially on Stelly. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in at the top. We're gonna start at the top, and hopefully, if I zoom in, it won't get too blurry. Let me see if I can make it bigger. All right. Is that still pretty clear enough? Is that clear enough?
2.
All right. Yeah, there's a big delay because even on YouTube, it hasn't shown up big yet. So, all right. Yeah, I think it's catching up. Okay. So, all right. I'm looking at the chat. So I'm looking at to see who has typed out anything, and I don't see anything yet. So we'll buy some time for those who want to participate. So, okay, so let's just revisit this topic real quick. Son Antoine. So one of the things that we spoke about before, like with the word queen, even the word God, the word what was some other words? Mistress and things like that. So one of the points that we were making before is that, you know, we shouldn't feel the need to have what I call wordophobia, like, you know, have to run away from certain words. And I see a lot of people do that on social media as far as Facebook, and you'll mention a word and then everyone will get stuck on the word as opposed to the content of what you're even saying. You know, like if I'm giving a translation of something and I put God in for the word nature, then the conversation changes from what I actually translated and what that's about to the word God itself. And so I think that's a lot of times we distract ourselves by dealing with the words and never really ask ourselves, why do we do that? You know, there's really nothing wrong with the word God. Um, there's nothing wrong with the word magic and things like that. And people say, okay, God is not an African word. Magic is not an African word. I'm like, well, you know, about 90% of the words we use today in speaking English, no one will be able to recognize their African origins anyway. You know, and I say it like that because there's a lot of Indo-European words that do have African origins, but they're pretty far back that you won't recognize the continuity of that. So that kind of goes without saying, but it's what it means. And, you know, and this gets into how we think about, you know, how we translate words in our minds, how we do this word substitution. And what one thing I brought up is that, like, for example, in our minds, when we translate, when you learn a language, your first language as a baby growing up, what's happening during that process, but it happens so naturally and so organically, we don't realize it's happening, but we are attaching a signifier to the signified, and it's being permanently matched and welded together, married together, to the point where we don't have to have any kind of thinking process when we say these words. The meaning comes, it's a package, it comes right with the word itself. But when you learn a second language, third language, or any new language, especially as an adult, your mind, you actually think through the process. So if I say the word, Spanish word, casa, in our minds, when we're learning this, your mind is saying casa equals house. But now, if you were a Spanish speaker and you grew up speaking Spanish all your life, you won't do that, obviously, because the word casa will have the signified pop up in your mind on the spot, as opposed to us English speakers. If I say casa, You got the word casa, then you got the image of a house pop up, then you got a married to two in your mind, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the thing is, and this is why when you learn a new language, practice, 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 practice. And they always tell you that any language teacher will tell you practice, practice, speak it, you know, use it, get around people who speak that same language, because the more you use it, the less and less you'll go through with that process. So anyway, I say that to say that, you know, we go through word substitutions, and we try to pick out words that will match the concepts that we have already in our minds. So God, if I say nature is God, if your concept of God is only by way of Christian or Abrahamic belief systems, and you're trying to learn an African system and stuff, then you'll have a problem, because your mind is trying to think of a concept, and it's African, and then it can only rely on what you already have been conditioned with, which is through an Abrahamic belief about God. So now you're matching that with African, and you're saying, okay, it doesn't match, so I don't like it. No, don't run from it. Just change your paradigm. Change your paradigm. You know, and I do that with the word spirit, the word religion, because a lot of people don't like the word religion. You know, not knowing that religion, it's okay, it's fine, perfectly fine, especially if you look at what the word means. The origin, the etymological meaning, and how it's used slightly different today. People think religion is spooky, you know, religious. Like we make a religious synonymous with false, and no, false is not even in the word. Period. The word religion has the same word that we use for ligaments. You know, muscle tendons and ligaments in your body that keeps your certain bones or muscles and tissues together. Ligatures. Even a ligature in writing styles and things like that. Ligatures is when you take two graphs and join them together. You know, so religion, ligature, ligare, all these things to unite something, to combine something, to you know, keep something united, is there. So what's wrong with that? People say, well, you got to know yourself, knowledge of self. I'm coming into knowledge of self. I have to reconnect. Everyone uses that word. I'm reconnecting with my real self. In so many words, that is that is religion. You're reconnecting, to rebind, to bind again. So if you feel like you were lost and you're reconnecting with yourself, then obviously you are performing a religious practice.
Don't it mean to rebind?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To rebind.
Bind back?
To bind back or to rebind. Bind
I guess
again.
I kind of explain my approach on it, as far as like certain words, like if we say mistress or if we say God. My approach is like not so much when I'm translating for myself, but for others, where they might see the word God, and then because their mind has not been transformed, they still have this concept in their head, or they might see the word mistress, and they'll have the concept in their head. So, and then some of the terminology, like if we translate in Budge, or we'll see what he might have put, or out thou, or just some old English type terms. And I'm like, well, if we translate it and making our own sentences, if it's the book of Param Huru or what have you, we can say how, so people can connect. You know, like you're saying, that's the thing. Like you said, even with language, the whole purpose is to connect and to communicate a message. So if we say something like, instead of saying God, we say nature, or we say nature, or we say divine, then the people who are listening, who mind has not been transformed, can say, oh, he said that means divine. I can connect better with that, as opposed to that person over there who said God. So I try to, that's my purpose in saying, I think that some of the terminology should be adjusted, almost like like you have like the NIV, the New International Version, or a New American Version. You use it to connect with the people. I don't know if you know, guys, remember at one point in time it was a debate as far as, okay, should teachers use Ebonics to teach students so students can connect better? You know what I'm saying? But not saying that that's something that I agree with, but just saying that's an example of what I'm saying. It's just a way of teaching that I found to be better with connecting with people, as opposed to using certain terminologies that may have already been conditioned in their head.
No, that's an excellent point. And see, this is part of the conversation that that I've had in the past, because you got to understand what happens if now you introduce a new element into the issue, which is not for yourself, like you said, but it's basically for others. So as a teacher or someone who's explaining something to someone else, you still have to understand how this is working cognitively. So, like, for example, if the person you're talking to is conditioned about this word God and they have a certain concept of God, now, even if you substitute that word God and you don't say the word, and let's just say you say supreme being, let's say you choose that word, you got to remember that in their mind, they're doing a formula: God equals supreme being. So now you can do that, but it's the same difference, because God equals God, and that's an obvious one. But then if you use the word supreme being, they're in their mind, they're still gonna go God equals supreme being. So you're only changing one side of the equation. So the point that we have to be mindful of is that our job is to help people change the other side of the equation. That's why I always use the word paradigm shift. We have to teach people to shift the whole paradigm. And that's a harder job though, but it's a job that we need to keep doing it. So we have to this is why I say we don't run from it. We embrace it. Like, embrace the word God. Just give God a bear hug. Give that word God a whole bear hug and say, nah, I'm going to change what your whole view on this word. I'm not going to switch the word on you just to pacify you. I'm going to grab this word. You use it, so I'm going to use it, but I'm going to change your paradigm on it itself. You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of approach. So the supreme being God, because in the Christianity, we all know that God is separate from creation. In Africa, the majority of African communities, God and creation is one and the same. So explaining it that way is a really good approach, letting people know that no, it's all right to use the word. Just understand that their concept of God is that everything in existence and existence itself is God. So God is the world and of the world. It's all the same. God and creation is one and the same. There is no outside of that, you know. But in Christianity, they got God off chilling out in heaven. His son is on his right hand side. You know, God has a right hand side. You know what I'm saying? So that's their thing. So we attack the concept itself and not the signifier that triggers it. You know, so that's what I mean is that by doing that, we're only playing around with the signifiers and not the signified itself. And we got to get under the hood and untangle the signified itself. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. But yeah, I know we did a lot of talking. So did anybody let me scroll up. Did anybody tackle this while we were talking?
Looks like Sean knocked it out.
Yeah, one of the brothers in the chat did too. I mean, Sean was working on the second line. But yeah, one of the brothers, I think Christ, he did the first line.
Okay, can somebody read it?
Yeah, what he come with?
I think he had Hotep Tennessee. What's that? Neb Iminat.
Are you coming a little low?
All right. Okay. Hope I'm clear now.
To you.
Oh, still low? All right. Okay. So he had Hotep Tennessee. Wasser Neb Iminat.
Okay. And then who's that?
That was Christopher with us.
All right. Okay. So yeah. So anybody have a comment about that first line?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right. Okay, so um, I don't know whose mic it is, but somebody has something loud in the background when you're coming on. All right, so the second line. Do we have a second line?
I don't think, not from the chat.
Yeah, we ain't got that one in the chat.
Oh, I see Christopher Withers has Ma'a, Nefer A, Neb Abju.
Oh yeah, you got it. I ain't looking in there.
Yeah,
He on it.
that's correct. I think it's Neferu.
It lies in the very heart of the country. And at
That's
the
about
heart
it.
of Iranian
All right, he stopped at Abju, and there's a little more.
I really didn't. I got E in my Karu. Oh no, I can't say that because then it starts over.
still one of the largest squares in the world.
Yeah, the last word is just in, like you
Yeah,
said.
okay. The last word will just be in.
Okay.
Why I got that little stroke back there though? What's that mean? Because you got the reed leaf, the stroke, and then the water ripple. Would that combination still be in?
Yeah, that's still in.
Okay.
Okay, now how about the third line? Would y'all come up with, because this is where it gets, as you said earlier, it changes directions. I don't see anybody in chat did the third line yet. So anybody on the panel, what do you have?
I'm gonna let y'all get this one.
I don't think we've done it, but I can just go ahead and read what I can. I think Seneb Ek.
Where your cursor at, Saber, so we can follow along.
All right, the I'm on the third line right here, third row.
Yeah, so Seneb Ek, and I'm not sure about the.
You're starting at Senebek?
Yeah, what's that first? The first one, is that a lion or I mean?
Yeah, you gotta start at the first one. I think it's high.
Yeah.
The lion.
Start right in front of the R. Yeah.
Where?
Point where she need to start at. Saber.
Where the open mouth, and then it looks
okay.
like.
All right, sorry. Okay, got you.
Yeah, that's where we going right there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got my directions wrong. We can see the the animal facing right, so we're reading right to left. So that would be Hati.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Hemnecha. Or I think Imi or Hemnecha.
Okay.
I see we have the 3 strokes, so that kind of just
Is that a tongue?
Could it be hold on.
Yeah. The tongue, that's what I was reading as Imi or but
Just the Imi.
yeah.
Is that a single stroke behind the tongue?
To you, there's a bunch of single strokes in it.
Yeah, see, I'm not sure if it's a single stroke and the double stroke, or is it the single stroke for the that goes with the tongue. So, and then you have the hem nature with the 2 strokes on it, or is it? I really can't tell with the alignment that they have it on it. So,
Could it be him Neteru? That's the only thing I could think of. Even though the strokes like ain't right by the Neteru sign, that's just a possibility I'm throwing out there.
All right. See, now this is where looking at the entire thing, if you look over here, you see the strokes. They're not quite right here. You have 1 and then 2 side by side. You have 1, then 1 under, then 1 here. So it's conveying plurality. So Emira Hemneteru
okay,
and Emira Hemneteru.
right, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, it's honorific. It's honorific.
yeah,
Nope. Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Only thing is
and
honorific
then
transposition is the netter and then the him.
right.
Nature. Yeah.
So, Hatia Imi are hem nature ru, and then you have Senebek Sen.
Say that one more time.
Oh, sorry. Then you have no. Okay, so this is the name Sebek Sen.
Okay. To you. Yep. Exactly.
Slow.
Exactly. All right. So we got it. All right. So we have.
Good job.
All right. So Hatia Emi Ra Hemneteru Sebeksin. All right. So now we've been transliterating all of this. I don't think we've given a translation, but all right. So we'll come back to that. So let's just finish a transliteration. So let's go on this side now. So we're working with this. Hopefully y'all can see the box around.
To you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can go ahead and read it as well. I think it would be Rapa Hati, and then it would be Imi Ar Hemnetru again. And then you have the name, which will be Intef Mahiru.
Okay.
Is it
So Intef on the right.
Let me put my cursor.
you'll say is it Intef or the his?
I've seen
Well,
Intef spelled with that like that, with the leg and the whole little phrase right there. So I've seen it spelled that way.
right. I was just reading it as direct as it is because it would be I would assume that it would just be the name, so I'd have to read it instead of translating it per se.
Because of the true voice.
Yes,
It
and
will
then
be his true voice. It'll just be true voice.
right, and then because it gives the title, so after the title you can expect the name and then true voice.
All right. So that's good. So, all right. Now that's kind of okay. So let's do a translation then for this first part. So let's go back up. And so what is this saying? What's the first line?
Yeah, Sean knocked that out.
Yeah, an offering the king gives Osiris, Lord of the West.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Second line.
Oh, hold on, sorry. This is where I mess up at.
That look good. I know that ain't what it is. I know that's Ma. Nefer.
Yeah,
What's that behind the Nefer sign?
strokes.
The single stroke.
That's
Three.
But
Neferu.
what's on top of it?
That's
It's
Neferu.
okay,
Three.
that's okay, Neferu. Okay,
Neferu.
Ma Neferu Neter.
Netra
Is
Ah.
that Neter? Okay, yeah, Neter Neb. Is that what is that behind it? Is that an
I thought it
Abju.
was, but it's wrong. Yeah.
That's
Okay, no,
accusing.
that's yeah, Abdu. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Abdu. Okay, all right. I don't know what the translation will be on that. Like I said, look good while ago.
Yeah, no.
I would
I would
no, go
say
ahead.
my beautiful God, uh, great Lord.
What you translate Ma as?
I think it will be to see. So probably it's the
Yeah.
verb see.
Yeah.
So it probably see the beauty or perfection.
Mhm.
Of the great God, Lord of Abydos. Yep.
It's a tough climb, but the view is
Too.
what
And he says, or says, not he said, but says.
Zoroaster.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's correct. So ma'a is to see, but in infinitive is seeing the beauty or seeing the perfection of the great God, Lord of Abydos, and then by. That just says by.
Yes, actually, correct. My bad.
All right. And
What's that about a water ripple?
a stroke.
Is it translate by as in?
In. Ma'a neferu, netra'a neb abju in. All right. So then we come down to by, and now we got two people because we see two figures here in the picture on the left and on the right. So this third line is assuming to be by. Remember saying by, and then it's gonna deal with two people. So we transliterated. We notice two names: a name here on the end, and a name here on the end. All right. So now what my guess here would be, because of the change in the directions, this center piece applies to both. Just like how we had on Divine Words Wednesdays, we showed in the titulary of Seti the First, we saw the Ankh in the middle, and then glyphs went off to the right, and then glyphs went on to the left. And you see how it's symmetric. You see how everything is the exact same. You got the lion, the hand, the arm, the standard tongue, and the club strokes. Everything is the same except for the name. So this stands to reason that this middle piece, Rapa, applies to both. So Rapa Hati'a, Imiran Hemnecheru, Sebeksin, and then the same thing for the side. Rapa Heti'a, Imirad Hemnecheru, Ini Int F, and Ma Heru. And most people say this is Intef, but Ini Intef, which means he who brings his father back, or something to that effect. Because Ini means to bring something. Okay, so Rapa, anybody know what Rapa means offhand? Because like I said, we're not using any books, and we don't see Rapa a lot, that word a lot, but we do see Hati'a, so we should know what Hati'a is.
Yeah, and that's the noble prince, something in that effect.
Yes. Yep. So noble prince, who is the overseer of the priest of the gods, or the priest of the divinities, or the priest of the you know, I guess it would be right to say the priest of the aliens for sure. But
Could don't Hetiah means ruler also? Or foreign, something like that. I think it's can it don't Hetiah also means foreign?
you mean foreign, like a foreign person?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't recall it being a foreign person.
It might be another word I'm taking it for, but I thought Hetiah also means foreign, but it might have been another word.
Yeah, because this one always has to do with something with the local or noble prince.
Yeah, I'm noticing when I see that little lion, it's always dealing with like nobility or something like that.
If Poland were alive today, he'd find this valley unchanged.
Like when they got like Hati
Through these vast
or like Hatshepsut.
I've almost forgotten the 21st.
What line? The tongue?
Oh, the lion, you mean?
Yeah, when they got the lion and then the little,
Oh, the lion.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like whenever I see them two together, I always know it's like somebody of high stature. That's just my assumption. I don't know. Maybe wrong or maybe right.
Yeah, probably because the hint parts of the line has to do with something that is in the beginning, something. So probably that's where it would come from.
Damn, Saber got booted.
Okay. Yeah, but you're right. You know.
So do
Somebody
you see
pull it
that?
up.
You see that in Cleopatra?
What?
You
That
see
was
that?
later. That was later though. You know, they was using that as
Yeah.
a L then.
Oh, but that I think was it the hind parts of the lion or was it the whole part of the lion? Because
Nah, it's usually like in
in
Hatshepsut, you'll
Cleopatra.
see, yeah, like you'll see the lion with the little arm underneath it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll see that in Hatshepsut name as well. So that's just where I
Yeah,
got
I think that's because of the of his phonetic sound, which is hat. So
it.
I
Yeah.
think get it
Are we
from.
still live? I don't know what happened. I'm up here talking to myself.
Yeah, you came back. You kind of got kicked out and you came back. So you might want to share your screen again.
All right. I was having a good old conversation with myself. All right, let me know when you can see it.
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, so I don't even know at what point I got kicked out. I was looking at the
Nah,
pic.
you weren't gone long. You was literally gone about 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So what was the last thing I said? What was the last thing you heard me say?
Um, so Tupperware had just made a comment.
Yeah, I was
You
gonna
might
say
want to restate that.
we was going over the Hati part, just me every time I see it, I'd always think of something noble or nobility. Just from my personal experience and looking at it.
All right. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what I was saying. Hati, I was saying it literally means four of the arms, the foremost of the arm. So it's like you say hat shepsut or hat shepset. It means foremost.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said when you jumped off, because I was like, it had Hatshepsut name, you know. That's where I mainly see it at. So when I see her name, I always couple those two together, and I know it means like foremost or somebody of high importance.
Right. All right. So we're clear on that. And so both of these people are put my cursor back on. So I hope you all heard when I said that this repod is likely to apply to both. All right.
To
All
Yeah,
right.
did we figure out what that meant though?
yes, the noble prince.
Okay, yeah, because I had ran and got some water real quick. All right, thanks.
All right, so now we're gonna go to, now I can't show this full one in the screen and keep it magnified like it is, so I'll scroll down as we go. So let's start right here in the middle and go with that. So I'm not sure if there's still a big lag. Yeah, there's a lag. So if anybody in the chat, again, you can call in and say instead of typing it, and we can bypass the lag. If not, then type it in and we'll read it.
Hey, just real quick. That ain't the Cybird, right?
You said the Sawbird?
Yeah, that ain't Cy, right? I just want to make sure.
Too, it is.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny because we just call them by their name anyway.
Yeah, because I know it's one bird that kind of look like that, and it's like GS.
Guess that
Yeah.
we're used to seeing the Sawbird with the sun right here or
Right.
a stroke.
Right. And I don't see none of that. That's why I asked.
Mm-hmm. Well, context would kind of will tell you. So that's why, we go, since we said Sa, so we said Sa, and I don't know if anybody's keeping their eyes on the chat, but I don't see anything so far. So we have Sa and we have Mer F. So what does Sa Mer F mean? Well, let's not translate it yet. Let's just go through the translation. So we have Sa Mer F, and then what do we have?
I'm gonna say in set ib.
Damn, that's what I just said. I thought my mic was unmuted, but yeah, that's what I got. In set ib
In set ib.
f
Go
s
ahead.
unk er in neat f her ta ta okay ta what is it hot I don't know what that, I forgot what the tongue is at the bottom, but I know that's him netta mn ns ma'at at that platform at the bottom. Ma'at.
You talking about the doorbell?
No, not the
After the
doorbolt. After the doorbolt, you got ns ma'at. M netta m ns or n dot s. I guess ma'at. I may be wrong.
Ain't it something in between that?
Yeah, I said M. You got M, him, netta,
Oh,
M,
okay.
N.
This right here?
That's M, right? It could
No,
be M or I M, right?
no, no, no.
Oh, so what is that? I'm thinking that's the half blunt. Even though I know that ain't what it is, but I'm so used to us saying half blunt now.
All right, let me back up a little bit though, because it's some things. Well, okay, so let's okay, so you got okay, so say what you had. You had
I don't remember what, I don't know what that is, right? Is that uh uh shoot, man, I don't know. I
all
don't
right,
know what that.
all right. So all right, we have Okay. Yeah, let me say this now because I was gonna wait to go through this part over here first. So all right, so let's do this part. Then we're gonna like walk over it again, go over it again. So let's do this final column right here.
I don't know what I know that's mess
Yeah.
in.
Let's see in.
Yeah, but I don't
Baby, I think it's her name.
okay.
Maybe yeah, determinative.
Okay, so that's gonna be an okay, messy in so that's the whole name then, right? Messy in
Probably.
it. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Born of.
Yeah, probably could be that.
Mhm. I don't know what that is. After the deity, I know I see a bread loaf. I see.
All right, so let's
That's
oh go ahead. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
it. Might be my aunt Carol.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the top because this is something that we need to stress more about. And we say it, but we probably don't stress it enough. And that is pattern recognition. Okay, because when we read English, we're not looking when we read.
All right. So
Okay, I'm
let's go
hearing.
back to the top because this is something that
Somebody need to mute their
we
mic.
need to stress.
All right, so
Ooh, shit.
Uh-oh. Now you're gonna get fined for cussing.
Hope you, yeah. Hope your mic okay. Hope your mic okay. But yeah, I see it like it said Messi in born of, so that's like you said, pattern recognition. We saw that the other night. We start, but I'm listening.
all right, so we have pattern recognition. We have to stress this because we have to keep this in mind at all times, even putting it into practice and things like that for beginner and people who are past beginners who consider themselves more advanced, is that naturally you'll do this naturally, but you got to kind of intentionally do this, and that is pattern recognition, because we're dealing with a foreign script to us and a foreign language to us. We tend to kind of get caught up on individual glyphs. Now we know that step 2 is to identify each individual glyph. That's only obviously if you don't know it, you have to look it up. But if you know it, then it's best to recognize words. All right. So we have to start getting used to these patterns. So for example, this set right here, this box, we should know automatically by seeing it is Hotep Dinasu. Period. That's it. We don't have to look at this and say, okay, this is the sedge. This is a mat with a raised bread loaf above it. And this is a cone. We don't have to do that. We should see this and recognize a phrase, Hotep Dinasu. We should see these two combinations side by side. If this was under it or what have you, we should automatically know Wasir. And then just by us knowing that Hotep Dinasu, an offering formula involving Wasir, will always have an epithet, and we know one of his epithets is Neb Abju or Neb Jedu, Kinti Aminti, all those kinds of things. We'll be familiar with that. So here we see Aminti or Aminet. All right, so we have to recognize patterns. This right here, we don't see it as much, but when you do, this is another pattern. This is the word ma'a. We should already see a word here. So like what happens is we'll see 3 glyphs, but we need to see one word. We need to see this as one word. All right, so we got to start doing that. This right here is another example. When my cursor comes back, okay. This right here, Abju. We should see those 4 glyphs as the word Abju, just like that. When we see the lion's paw and the forepart of a lion and the arm, we should automatically know that's the word hati'ah. So it's things like that that should alert us to the word. When we see Netcher or the standard next to the club, automatically Hem Netcher, which literally is God's servant or divine servant. So, but we should already know, be familiar with that. What is another one that we should have? Okay. And then down here, we see this four part of a lion and the arm again. So we know there's a repeat. Among the repeats that were up top, it's the third time that we saw this. So we should already know hati'ah. And we see a tongue here. So we see hati'ah hem netcher again. So all this right here is hati'ah hem netcher. So we should automatically, because we're recognizing words, we see that, okay, hati'ah, and then it's a repeat of what was up top. Hati'ah emira hem netcher. And see, once you do stuff like that, then you'll see the context and you'll understand. So what we were questioning here, this is a alligator, crocodile. Why? Because we know his name is Sobek Sin. And we look down here, we have the crocodile as Sobek, and then we have Sin. So now in between we have Sa Mer F, which is son.
His beloved son.
Mm-hmm. His beloved son of, which is in. And then I know it's
is that throne?
Yeah. Set ib F. This right here is a phrase that we need to get used to. Set ib, like Awad ib is joy, but it literally means stretched heart. But set ib is what?
I don't know. I know set is throne. I'm not familiar with this with the phrase set ib.
Anybody familiar with it?
Some heart. Sit on his heart, set heart, sit on his heart, crown of his heart.
Okay, it's a. Go ahead.
Well, I'm thinking because the set might be to do with a place.
Yes.
And then ib, so it's like in the, like a place in his heart. So probably something to do with a favorite or something like that.
Exactly. It's a word. It's a phrase that means affection. His affection. So set ib is a place of heart, a place of heart. So a place in his heart, a place of his heart. So it's a word for affection. So his beloved son of his affection. And then we have Sa'unk, which is cause to live. Then we have Rin, in, it. So to cause to live, the name of his father. And then what do we have here before?
Is that upon the land?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Is that upon the land?
Yeah. So that's good.
Is that what's underneath the land? What's that symbol right there?
That's it.
I think the canal.
That's the that's a determinative, right?
Yes, for the canal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is that Mer? Another Mer?
No. That's just I forgot what you call it, but no, that's not the sign Mer. That's a determinative. You'll see that after the tar sign, the land and the grain.
Above the tar, is that HR or DP?
That's HR.
Yeah, even if it was a profile, head and profile, or face, forward face, it would still be upon, because tip would be the top of, and her would be upon, and it's basically saying upon the earth. All right, and then we have Hati'ah, Imira Hemnetcher, so Sobek Sin. And
I'm sorry, say, but that don't look like no alligator to me.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I wouldn't have got an alligator. I didn't know what it was.
I thought it was
got
the
an
half
No,
a
alligator.
blunt. That's why I said M.
Well,
I
see,
thought
Why?
it was.
if it was M, it'd be reversed. It wouldn't be that way. It'd be the other way.
yeah,
Yeah, and he has a little curve, but I thought it was actually looked like a lion. So
Yeah,
I,
yeah. It didn't look like no. It definitely don't look like no. What's it called, no crocodile.
okay, yeah. So that's why I went back up, and this is where it's gonna take it takes time. It takes time and practice and time and practice to recognize the patterns. So we're when you see this repeat of this title here, then it starts to kind of lead you into some options, because we have Hati'ah Imira Hemnetcher again. So where did we see that before? We saw it right here. Hati'ah Imira Hemnetcher, Hati'ah Imira Hemnetcher. So it's going to be one or the other. And
right.
so now let's go over here. So we have mess in. So we know mess to mean what? And I think we have a caller in, so give me 1 second. We have mess to mean what?
Born.
Yep. And then in,
Uh,
right? Born of, and then we see a female determinative,
Is it BB?
So baby.
right? BBI, BB.
BB.
Yeah.
So born of BB, Ma'at with a T. Now we have Ma'at Keru instead of Ma'akeru.
Right.
So that's his father and his mother, or their father and mother. Okay, so and then that's it. No more, none left. All right, let me kind of back out so we can see the whole thing again. Yeah. Let me see if I can hide that part. Okay, there we go. So now we can see the whole thing. So we have Hotep di Nasu Wasir Neb Amint, Ma'a Neferu, Netra Neb Abju, In, and then we have Rapa, Hati'ah Emira, Hemneteru, Sabek Sin, and we have Rapa Hati'ah Emira Hemneteru, Ini Intef, Makeru. Then we have Sa Mer'ef, Ni Set Ib F, Sa'unk, Rin, In It, Tep or Her, Ta, and then we have Hati'ah Emira Hemnetcher, and we don't have the plural strokes. We have Hemnetcher and then Sobek Sin, Mes in Bibi Ma'at Keru, and that's the whole thing. All right, so yeah, that's the two pictures we have. This first one, that was pretty easy. We had on the left we have Jed Medu N, Wajit Nebet Pernu, Dni and Ek, and then on the right we have Jed Medu N, Waret Hikau, Dni and Ek, Snebneb, and that's it. So those are both of the pictures for tonight. So with that, we could open it up for conversation, comments, questions. And I thought we had someone dialed in. So if you want to introduce yourself, the mic is yours.
Hotep, it's Lisa.
All right, Hotep. So you can hear me. Can you hear the others? Can anybody on the panel say something to make sure that you all are heard?
You.
Hotep, send Lisa. Send that, Lisa.
Hotep.
Okay. All right. So we can hear. All right. Good. Yep. So we got it working the first time around. All right. So let's see. I'm actually leaving for going away party. I'll join in next time for sure. All right, that is trick ya. All right, got to figure out these screen names. Map the site, my literals, etc. I'm just looking for questions. Anybody see any questions that was typed in? Any questions, outstanding questions that we might have missed?
I didn't see any.
All right.
I see one that said it's so back related to time in any way.
Related to time?
Yeah, in any way, shape, or form, I guess.
Oh, in terms of time, yeah, in astronomical text, so Sobek is is one of the stars or associated with constellation. So yes, but in you know, alone and by itself, you know, it depends on the context, because a lot, you got to remember, there are some Necharu that have multiple functions within the culture, and you know, so they share responsibilities in terms of the concepts that the people had. So Sobek, in terms of time, Sobek does uh, refer to a particular star or constellation at some point, but those are in astronomical texts. You'll find that in the texts that deal with timekeeping and calendars and things like that.
You're gonna also see that because the alligator dealt with the water of the Nile too, and so because that was important, dealing with the calendar as well, as far as the season and the rise.
Yes.
And then other now, so that's going to line up with the calendar as well.
Yes, and see, you know, one of the things we have to be familiar with is, like I always say this, figurative language, figurative expressions. You know, the metaphors and how these things were conceived and conceptualized. So, like Sebek, in terms of time, Sobek would be associated with a star that goes underwater, but not literally, because we say, you know, a crocodile goes underwater. That's what literal crocodiles will do. But in terms of astronomical text, the crocodile going underwater would be the stars that go below the horizon, and is considered at a time of flood when the crocodile is below the water. So it hasn't risen above the water yet. So they use that to calculate a certain time of the year, or a certain point in a great year. All right. So we have to just remember that certain Necharu are associated with constellations or even stars, or a cluster of stars that may not be particularly a constellation that we know of, but particular stars, like, you know, Sopdet, we call Sirius. It's associated with Osset. You have the Necharet Neat, associated with a certain star, you know. And if you read the astronomical text, they actually talk about time, or the positions in time, these cycles. They have a narrative about it, and if you don't know that, you'll think you're reading, you know, a nice fantasy story, but they're talking about stars that are coming into view, out of view, into view, out of view. Like for example, I'll just give you a quick example. If I would say to let's just say, for example, per Sopdet. Well, that one's easy because everybody knows that one. But per neat, the word per means to emerge or to come forth. Like we say peret imheru. So if I say peret neat, the emergence of neat as a deity, or Neith, as people may call her, as a deity, people think that, okay, Neat is making an appearance. You know, so wow, you know, she's making an appearance or whatever. But what is Neat in that instance? It's actually when the star that's associated with Neat makes the appearance in the sky. And for whatever significant reason it made that appearance, it was logged and recorded and spoke about. But the way they did it was they wrote it inside of a narrative. So per that neat, let's say neat made an appearance, and then this, that, and third happened. So that's what it's talking about, stuff like that. So this is why I always encourage everyone, when you're practicing and you're studying, to, just like when you walk into a record store, I mean, a music store. We can't even say record store anymore. There's no more. There's no records. But if you walk into a music store or even a bookstore, they have genres. So everything is sectioned by genre. So likewise with this kind of text, we need to be mindful of the genre of text, so that we'll know which mode of figurative expressions we are likely dealing with. So if you put all the astronomical text together, that means all the timekeeping, anything about stars and stuff like that, calendars and everything like that, boom, that goes into a genre. Then you deal with all the medical text, genre, instructional text from parent to children, father to son, and all that, different funerary text, and even among them, you kind of subdivide those as well. But the whole point is to you know be familiar with the kind of genre that you're working with, so you'll know how to handle it, or at least have a better idea of how to handle it. All right, it helps out. So I think we had another caller on. Oh, I guess it went off. All right. But any comments? Feel free to comment. I'm gonna have to mute my mic for 1 second. But yeah, you all can go ahead and comment.
I'm not sure if y'all talked about it or not, but y'all was trying to figure out that alligator. I think just the main reason why it was hard to see what it was it's damage. It was damage in that area, it looked like.
Yeah, probably just how the picture was taken, but it makes sense.
Look like got like a little black dot on it. Like, well, yeah, it is damaged because it's a lot of little black dots on the other dude on the right.
It looks like somebody was shooting
Right.
it or something.
Man, shot him up, man. Hey,
Yeah, target practice.
it's crazy. Them dudes look like shots.
We're trying to see any more questions in the chat.
No, looks like everyone is straight.
Did y'all watch that video?
What
Which
video?
one?
The one that a Smash did.
Was it recent?
The Magi. Yeah, like a day ago.
Yeah, I missed it.
Yeah.
Sound like we got a new
Check it
caller
out.
in. State your name, where you from?
All right, somebody out of Chicago.
Oh, that might be Lisa.
Yeah, that was me. I just called in to check the PIN number, and it's working. You just have to dial the number, and then when it asks you to state the PIN, then you just put the PIN in and then wait.
Can y'all hear me?
To you, yes. Yeah, you're a little low, but we can hear you. Who's that? Who? You may introduce yourself. Okay. Hotep.
Okay.
You're in Chicago too?
A phone number.
First. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we got 3 callers on. So is anybody that called in? Because we've been doing all the talking. So anybody that called in, do you have any comments or questions about anything?
I mean, not really. I mean, you do a thorough job. You know, a thorough job done by the crew. You know, not really.
I want to say this. You did a good job in that chat back there. I do want to say that. You did a very good job.
It drives me crazy.
Did you take the class?
Yeah, I'm in Ricketti's class.
Who's that? Is that Chris? that Chris? Yeah, okay. Yeah, what's up? Called in last week. Excellent. But with looking at it, we're talking about the damages on there.
I got a question for you, Chris. Do Ricketti know we do these shows?
I never asked. I'm sure she does because in our class, Amoye is also in that same class. So I've mentioned the class too. So I'm sure indirectly or directly she knows about the class that's going on.
See if you can get some feedback for us and see if what she think of how we doing and how we done progressed so far. That'll be good for us.
Okay.
Actually, probably should contact her for an interview.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, she's been really, really tired lately. Last couple of weeks. I mean, I think she's going through she's probably a little bit ill or whatever. Because our class yesterday ended kind of early. After we did our little bit, we really didn't. Not yesterday, I'm sorry, but Wednesday, we didn't hang around too much longer afterwards. And then a week before that, she was kind of under the weather.
Yeah, no, I just want some feedback. That's it. I don't really want to interview, because I know she's a busy lady. So if any positive feedback you get, that'll suffice for me.
Well, one thing we can announce though is that people, matter of fact, well, I'll leave the screen up, but we can announce just tentatively sometime in June, the end of June, there's going to be a conference, held for dealing with the language, the rebirth or the renaissance or the recovery of the Egyptian language. So just kind of be on the lookout for that.
June 26th. Talking about the one in Chicago?
Right.
I'm there. I've been wanting to go to Chicago anyway.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
Think I'm not sure if it's solid from the brother that is actually setting it all up. So that's why I just say kind of keep it tentative, keep your calendar open at the end of June, because it's not sure if it's going to be a 3-day event or 2-day event or if it's going to be the whole weekend or what. They're trying to sort all to finalize the details and stuff, but it's going to be around June 26th. So for sure. So that's good. So so that's 6 months from out from now and everything like that. But that's
Do you know where they're thinking of having it?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to say too much because everything is tentative, because sometimes people will lock in on one thing and then that's it. I just want to put it out there that this is something that's going to be the first time that is happening. And it's at the end of June, and Dr. Vakedi Amin is basically spearheading it. This is something that she's been working on for a long, not the event, but something she's been working at and dealing with for a long time, for quite a while. Ever since she was worked with Dr. Jacob Carruthers. She's one of the first, one of the kind of the pioneering members of ASCAC. So she's rubbed elbows with all the people that we talk about. Dr. Theophilo Benga, Jacob Carruthers, Asa Hilliard,
Diop.
Shekanta Diop, exactly. So she's rubbed elbows. So those are her colleagues, basically. So she's been at this for a long while, and so this event, that particular kind of event, they have annual ASCAC meetings and then regional meetings and events and stuff like that. But this particular event will be the first of its kind in terms of the issue. It's called Wahem Mesut Ni Kemet, or Ni mdw-ntr, actually, which is Wahem Mesut, which means repeating births, but it's a phrase that can mean renaissance, like, you know, you're giving rebirth to something. So the renaissance of the Egyptian language. Wahemesud ni mdw-ntr, or Sesh mdw-ntr. All right, so yeah, so just keep your eyes open for that, eyes out and ears for that good stuff. So yeah, that's good. So brother Christopher, so you're at a level you're learning the grammar though, right?
Yeah, we're doing grammar through Sanahet.
Sanahet?
Yeah, we're translating Sanahet.
Okay. Okay. And so how is it?
Yo, so that's that literature you was telling us about that you break down the story.
Yeah, it's you know, I'm kind of glutton for punishment. At first, it started out, it was really fun, but I see the bigger picture. I'm saying that for this reason. It's tedious, and it's long-winded. You know, you know what I'm saying? Recognizing verbal constructions and verbal form. Yeah, you know, yeah. But at the end of it, though, it's only three of us in there. We feel, plus hers four. We feel really good at the end that we've kind of plowed through it, you know, and we try to look for we try to, if you will, Africanize it, so to speak, and try to look at the greater meaning of the story. You know, yeah, we're trying to see, you know, because the story apparently is a metaphor for something else, clearly, because we don't know if Sanahet actually, you know, existed. So we spent time with her just trying to see how does it apply, and what does this mean, and what does this imply, you know, what does this imply in the story? Yeah.
Okay.
And we're about 3/4 of the way through.
Okay.
Yeah, we're almost done.
Well, that's good. That's a good way to learn. I mean, anytime you're learning the grammar, you are eventually going to have to walk your way through some kind of literature, and then that particular one, you have certain ones that people use that basically the reason why they use it is because it exhibits a lot of the grammatical points that you are actually learning. So like the story of the shipwrecked sailor, the tale of the two brothers, Senuhe, all these different stories are used a lot. So you'll see a lot of people work on those because they show all the different grammatical features of Middle Egyptian though. That's Middle Egyptian. Right. So that's good. See, and like a lot of grammar books, they don't necessarily walk you through a story like that, but the grammar book serves as a textbook to learn the techniques and the actual parts of speech and the breakdowns. But then as a complement to any grammar textbook, you should always go through, like you're doing with one of those stories and stuff, you know, because I'm working on a grammar book that I should be finished by March. And it you know, I came to that realization because you can't you can't put it all in one book. You can't try to break it all down and then actually walk through a whole story or whatever and everything. So that's how come in a lot of grammar books, they'll just give a short example of whatever they're talking about. So if I want to talk about a direct genitive, then I may find one in some story and then use it as an example, and then, you know, but not do the whole story thing. So but I will have, like when I do the classes, I'm gonna have to do the same thing. But see, I'm gonna do it, you know, I'm doing it like a little differently. I'm gonna have the textbook to learn all of the technical aspects, lay a solid foundation, and then actually have the complementary steps through the stories and everything like that, and then we'll be able to refer back to the book. So it's going to be a back and forth thing on the second part. So like I'm breaking it down in terms of that, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to
When will that class start?
After I'm finished the book. So I look forward to start it in April, really, as far as grammar.
Okay.
Yeah, full-fledged. I'm going hard. And see, grammar, like how you just said, it's real tedious. It's like, you know, wow, you got to plow through it. It's like it's slow. It's like, man, you know, and stuff like that. That's why I tell people that. And see, this is the reason why I'm doing things the way we're doing it. Like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with our pyramidal curriculum, where I have 3 levels and then 3 stages within each of those levels. So
Yeah, I heard you mention it.
yeah. So, you know, we did it this way because what happens is when people first want to learn the language, if you try to, well, like a lot of the books are written, like if somebody who just starting out or learning the language and they pick up James P. Allen's book or Gardner's book or whatever, most of those people are turned off. They're turned off by it because it's so overwhelming, and then it's try to cram a lot in one thing. So that's why I separated as a beginners, just to lay out those foundation things and everything, and then get into grammar. Plus, what that does, it kind of filters out people who are just satisfied with just identifying some glyphs here and there, you know, because if you get that kind of mentality into a grammar setting, man, they'll be huffing and puffing and like, oh man, I'm not really with this, you know. So so that process kind of filters that out, and then everybody's satisfied. People will do what they want to do, what they want to get into. Like beginners, like, okay, boom, I digested that, I'm good, and then they're done, and then some people want to move on. Yep. So that's how it is.
I've been peeping your style though. I like the way you do it. You know, because we lost a lot of people. I mean, that level 2 class started. You know, we had about 9 people, 10 people, and now we're down to just, you know, 3 solid, like spades, maybe 4. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, see, that's the thing. See, I've experienced that even at beginners level, because I used to teach in like face to face, and the classes I had, you know, I went through that experience. So, you know, it's like a learning experience that you learned, and you got to shift. You switch up, because I you know, one time I had a whole class, I had a whole room of about 25 people, you know, face to face learning, and then that 25 went down to 10, 10 consistent, 10 consistent. I had 25 and then went down to 10 consistent, you know, and so I know how it is. I know how it is, and that's just beginner stuff. So I'm doing it this way because I don't want nobody to it's like what your parents say to your children, like you know, when they serving their own plate, like you better eat what you take. Don't let your stomach, what they say, don't let your eyes fool your stomach, or whatever the case is. So a lot of people want to learn, but then when they get into it, it's like, oh man, but then they paid for the course and all of that. So I've learned, and I made adjustments accordingly. But yeah, April, I'll be starting a grammar course. So we're gonna dive in. Watch, it's gonna be systematic. It's gonna be in a nice order, and everything, because a lot of these books, they have a certain style, and you know, some people can they vibe with different styles and stuff. So yeah, we have it
It
done.
takes some dedication being in a class like that.
Yeah, the grammar is not going to be a joke, you know, because the beginners is 12 weeks, 2 hours a week. So the grammar is going to be longer, and we probably well, I don't know yet, but it would be nice if we do 2 days a week instead of just 1 a week, because with grammar, you kind of want to keep it in your mind. You don't want to go from week to week. You want to at least have two days a week, because I can talk about nouns, the gender and number of nouns for a week, but in 2 days, and then that'll kind of get stuck in people's minds and everything. So yeah. Oh, and I see we have the, yeah. Okay, so let me share the screen. I'm gonna share Emiket's screen. She has it up. So the curriculum that I mentioned. So, you know, you can see on the screen, it's 3 levels of 3 stages a piece. So stage 1, level 1. I think we lost somebody or gained somebody. All right, look like we gained somebody. All right. 1 second, I'll just open the mic up. Let me just explain this real quick. So we have 3 levels, and I'm moving my cursor like y'all can see if y'all can see my cursor, but hopefully people can see it on YouTube. But it's 3 levels and 3 stages within each level. So on level 1 is 3 stages. So stage 1, level 1 is foundation in Ronnie Kemet, Seshew mdw-ntr. So that's the beginner's level, you know, and that's what we've been teaching all this time. Stage 2 is what I just now spoke about. So I'm gonna start that in April, or when I'm finished the book. And that's Ronnie Kemet grammar and penmanship. And then stage 3 is a foundation in historical comparative linguistics. Okay, because see, not everybody needs to go or want to go through all of these things. That's why I separated into stages. But we're going to deal with all of that in level 1. So that is level 1. And then level 2 is once you get level 1 under your belt, then level 2, stage 1 is the recovery of historical pronunciations. And see, you need that foundation in historical comparative linguistics to even understand how to even go about recovering the ancient pronunciations, if it is even possible, you know. So there's certain methods and tools. Then stage 2 is the development of speech communities. So this is when we start speaking it, because obviously if we're recovering the pronunciations and we're coming to consensus on all this stuff, then we can start speaking it. And so this is the development of speech communities. Then stage 3 of level 2 is the recovery of the realities behind figurative speech. That is the beginning stages of initiation systems, you know, initiatory houses is stage 3, level 2. Because when you start recovering the realities behind the figurative speech, you have to do so in a controlled environment. Like, for example, you just said the story that you're dealing with the grammar. Now, you're looking at the bigger picture of the story, like what's the meaning, what's the reality behind this story, what's it really talking about, and then what is it figuratively or metaphorically talking about, etc. See, those things will be recovered in stage 3 of level 2, because you have to have a foundation in all of the steps beforehand. All right, because see, we don't go the other way around, but that would be too fast, like pulling a cart before the horse. And then stage 3 is all about applying and executing and utilizing everything that we've learned, you know, in your real life, like in your day-to-day life, whatever can be applied. Because we don't believe everything can be applied, because obviously, you know, Kemet existed in ancient times, and we're modern, and we're dealing with stuff today that we don't had to deal with in the past. But whatever can be applied. And mainly it deals with, you know, you as a human being. You know, you'll find out at the root of all these initiation systems is the cultivation of divinity of each individual, you know. So like the 5%ers call it God body, becoming a God and doing this and doing that. But, you know, it's cultivating your divinity. So anyway, so that's how we have it set up. And then those three levels are patterned after the 3 seasons. So like, for example, the natural seasons in Kemet were first the flood. So obviously the Nile had to swell up and flood. Then after it flooded, then people could plant the seeds and take care of the growth of the plant, whatever they planted. And then the third is harvesting and storing. So those are the 3 natural seasons. So the way the pyramidal curriculum is set up is the same way. Like, you can't harvest something if you didn't plant anything, and you can't plant anything until the ground is fertile for it. So this is a reminder for us not to pull the cart before the horse. So that's why we patterned it after the 3 seasons. And you have Akhet being the flood, Peret being the growth, and then Shamu being the harvest season. And now we know the natural course of those seasons, but the names of those seasons, especially between Shamu and Peret and Akhet, there is a little bit of discrepancies between scholars on that. And I'm in the process. I'll be doing a paper on that to outline, you know, some information on which is which. You know, so anyway, but that's that. So I just want to explain that real quick. But I know we have another caller on though. You know, we already did all the talking for the night, so I want to kind of open the mic to you all if y'all have any questions or comments. And if you do, introduce yourself if you haven't done so already.
What's up? This is Aziz. I'm just calling in, sitting in.
Okay. All right. Now, if anybody is on the chat part, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I want to close out the YouTube live broadcast, because I don't, you know, we want to keep the videos bite size. You know, we don't want to supersize it. We just want to keep it a nice, a large size of 2 hours. And yeah, so we want to close out on the live, but you all stay on the line. But if you want to call in, you see the call-in number, Brother Sean, and put it up in the pin number. Just call in, and we can keep talking for a while. But on the video, we're gonna close out. So I want to say dua for those who are tuned in now, and won't be calling in. So dua, thanks for hanging out, and hope you have fun. Hope you learned something. And if you have any questions, you can join our Facebook group and all that stuff. See, now I'm running into Emiket's job. So let me be quiet and pass it over to Emiket so she can close us out.
Oh, no, you could just finish it off. Okay, so I'll guess I'll finish it off. But yes, what y'all said, you know, if you're on Facebook, check out our Facebook page, Seshew mdw-ntr, and our website as well, www.mdw-ntr.com. And there's a lot of information there, and you can also get to order the books if you're interested in learning the language. We have 2 books there. We have the decipherment book, and then we have the beginner's introduction to mdw-ntr. So you can also just share your thoughts with us on Facebook if you feel you want to correct something or you just want to add something. Yeah, make sure that you are already part of the group. So with that, I'd like to say dua for tuning in tonight, and I'll say get an affair or back an affair, and Shema Motep.